Hello, I'm back. Relaxing Flower coloring book. This is the one that is put out by Montana Roots Publishing, okay? Because I know there are so many different ones. And no, I've not done the review on this yet. I've been trying to do a little bit of coloring first. And here is another page that I think y'all will like. This one is asters, and when you're coloring letters, let me remind you that if you'll color the bottom half of your word darker than the top half, it kind of anchors that word to where it doesn't look or appear to be just floating around, okay? So that's something we haven't talked about in a hot minute. All right, let's get this set up. Let's zoom in a bit. I am going to turn this just a bit so that we can get it as close as we can. Now, I am using the Color Your pencils again. And you know, a lot of them are getting shorter because I'm not using them because I'm using them so much. My lightest shade is a 535. Then I go over, which is like it's like a fuchsia, or this one's called Fruit Punch. Okay, that I'm using 565. This one is called Fuchsia. And then I am using 574, which is Amethyst. I just think it's a nice color blend. So I come in and I start with my lightest. And I am going the direction that that petal is growing, okay? And I've colored enough in this book that I can tell you the paper is cheap, but I'm still able to get in there and get enough layering done. Now this is folded up over this, okay? That's one of those petals that's like this. So we're going to do a little bit darker right here and here where those shadows would be. Okay, we're at the flip over, so it's going to be darker right there. And then this is what's flipped over the top, so it will be lighter. Let's see what's new. Mother's Day was nice, and this, I'm doing this up a little bit ahead of time. Mother's Day was yesterday, so this is the Monday after. So it'll be a few days before you'll see this, but that's all right. I like to get some of these videos done and completed when I can, just because life does happen and we cannot always control what goes on. So I just like to do a few when I can. So you'll notice I'm leaving the white or the paper to show in the areas where it's going to be a bit darker. Okay, just get your first layer on. Yeah, I got flowers. I got potted plants actually that are flowers. So I'm excited about that. I didn't think I wanted any, but when my daughter walked in with them, I was like, oh my gosh. And we had just redone part of the front yard. So we now have an outdoor rug out there and some chairs and a table and our banner, just all kinds of neat stuff. So it's an area where we can sit and visit out front when our neighbors go walking in the evening. So I'm looking forward to that. We had already done the backyard, but we'd not really done anything to improve the front and the curb appeal there. So very much looking forward to getting to use that seating area. See how I am. I'm only 4 minutes in. Good. All right. Let me see. Let's just keep going on this with the light. We still have time. Plenty of time. So on each of these flowers, I'll be doing the same process. Come in with the light, and then the medium, and then the dark. And then you that have been with me a while, you know that I come back and blend everything with the lightest shade whenever possible. Let's go ahead and move on to the middle shade. So yeah, so my daughter brought me 3 potted plants, 2 of delphinium and 1 of impatiens, I believe it was. So very pleased to have all that. And it's out in front around the tables now, so it's all prettied up. Then daughter-in-law actually sat down with our granddaughter and they put a handprint on a frame, on a wooden frame. And then they had painted it up real pretty, and it's got a picture of Evie with the blue bonnets. So that's pretty special. I'm going to go ahead and do this one dark because it's way back under there. And then a card and a drawing. Hubby took me to Christina's and we had some enchiladas. I love cheese enchiladas. And so I had cheese and meat and the beans and rice. So that was awesome. And then we had leftovers. So I got to eat it again, which Mexican food for me, I don't really get tired of it. So that was fun. So my cough is still present, but I did get into a ear, nose, throat specialist today. So I went in this morning and they scoped, and if this is TMI, sorry, they scoped the nose and down the throat. And yes, I do still have allergies, but I also evidently have acid reflux. And since I had COVID, it's just pronounced itself more. So she put me on different foods, a script, which we're going to go get after a while, and just out walking more. I got to quit drinking the boost that I've been drinking. Got to stay away from milk products, stay away from some of the cheeses. She said occasional cheese on a burger and stuff is going to be fine. I'm moving to my 3rd color now. The chocolate, yeah, the getting off boost once a day and restricting my chocolate down quite a bit is going to be the big things. And ice cream, but we didn't eat a whole lot of ice cream before. Still fine to have a slice of cheese on a burger. Just staying away from some fried foods is going to help with the reflux. Going from 2 cups of coffee a day down to just 1. So we'll see. I go back in 7 weeks. So y'all pray that I'm able to drop some of the weight gain that has happened through all this, and that I can really stay away from the milk products, because I love nachos, I love ice cream, I love cheese, mac and cheese, my boost and all that. Like I said, cheese on a burger now and then, she said is fine. And I'm going to get out one of our wedge pillows to sleep on. 2 pillows wasn't enough. She wants me up higher. So just some life changes, but you know, age happens and things change, and I'm going back to my lightest shade. And you just do what you got to do to roll with the punches, so to speak. She wanted to know what my stress levels were and shared with her some about just life in general, and y'all know what that is. You've been around with my videos long enough. You're pretty well caught up with that stress. And she said, yeah. She said, see me back in 7 weeks, the end of June, and she would see where we need to go from there. So I was really surprised. I expected the scoping and stuff to really be horrible, but it was not. She was super nice too. So, and I've coughed enough that I was ready just to get in and find out what was going on too, whatever it was. So anyway, life. Let's see what else has been going on. I don't think there's been a whole lot of anything else. I think I told y'all Robert fell when we went last week. And so we found out that his doctor's appointment is not anytime soon. So if he falls again, I think it's going to be ambulance ride to the hospital because none of us want to be liable. His son has got his liability rights on him, but he's not local, so yeah, it's a mess. Just a stressful mess. So, anywho, oh, they are going to redo my mother-in-law's kitchen floors. So the places where it's peeling up, which is a fall hazard, is going to be taken care of this coming weekend. Or they're going to start Thursday rather and be done hopefully no later than Saturday. So the caregiver is very excited about that, I think, because she's the one that mainly goes in there in the kitchen, and the linoleum they currently have just is not real good. It's peeling and it is a fall hazard, but anyway, like I said, just life. So what do y'all think of blending the pinks and the purples? Think this is something, I'm back in the middle color now. Think this is something you might try in one of your books? I do like the colors. I like the brightness. It's almost festive, if that makes sense. I'm just pulling this color up into here just a little bit more. I can kind of see a line right there, and that's what I want to get rid of. So in doing this, it kind of pulls it up some. Okay, so now that line is not there as much. So don't give up on blending and pulling the colors up to make the blend even better. And then I can still come back with that original color and just blend. See that it's still accepting color, even as thin as this paper is. And you can see I'm really bearing down on it. I'm down here on the pencil. I'm not way back here getting a light touch. I'm bearing down on it. And I'm getting a pretty good blend going on. So that does make it easier. Okay. Does that make sense? Is that easy enough, you think? All right. Instead of finishing up here, I want to go down and do right in here some. Because this one is flipped around. See how this one's kind of flipped? So it's coming down, and then it's quite literally flipped over. Okay, like if you take a shoestring and flip it, that's right where the twist is. So it can be lighter here at the tip. Okay, it'll be darker here where it flips. And then it can also be a little bit darker here where it flips. Does that make sense? So it's as if it's doing this. It's as if we've got this, and then it is flipped. Okay? Does that help at all? So when we get ready to do this, that's why we have this area right here just a little bit darker. Okay? All right. So in doing that, it's going to be here. And then the darkest shade right up in there. And yes, a little bit of erasing there. Part of that's from coloring upside down. Okay. And then I can do a little bit of dark there, but I think I'm going to leave that light because if that's on the top part and then it's flipped, it would still be lighter. So then all of this is going to be light. Coming through. Then my second shade, and you can use any 3 colors that you'd like. I would say 3 makes it easier because some of these petals are so long. Now see, I went from here to here because I don't want to push too hard in here. I don't want to smush down all the tooth in the paper until I've had a chance to really blend these colors. And I want to get all 3 colors in. But yeah, you can go on your phone or tablet or whatever and do a search and see what colors these flowers come in. And if you missed it, I did do carnations not long ago. Okay, you can go back and see those too. Now I've gone on over to my amethyst. Blend it down in there. Now, did you see how I blended that? This time I went like this. And before, I was going like this. So you can go whatever works for you. You could even do the little circles like this. Find a way that works for you. And you'll see me use different ways of doing it on different flowers or trees or whatever we're doing. You're going to see me change it up. I don't think I just stick to one particular way. I go according to what feels right with what I'm doing. I'm back to my lightest shade, and now I'm going to be directional on how the flower's going, and that is going to pull some of that purple down into the pink, some of the pink into the purple, and help blend it all. There we go. It's not real hard. You can tell it is time consuming, but a lot of these are time consuming, okay? These would also look nice if you wanted to do like sunflowers in the yellow and the burnt umber or yellow ochre. You know, you could do that. Just don't let your browns get too brown. And I think sunflowers are actually in here, so that's another reason I went with something different. And I believe daisies are in here. There's all kinds of nice things in here. So let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do this one. This one is actually like this and then flipped up. But it's flipped up over itself. So this is the center of the flower and you're seeing the flip up part. So I'm going to come in and do this in the pink, my lightest shade. And then I'm going to go medium shade. And then I don't think I'm going to do the darkest down there. The medium is just where that flip is. And that's something that I can still determine later. If I'm working on this later and I think, oh, it does need it darker there, I can still add just a little bit of the dark there. Okay? Here's one here. This is another straight one, more or less. So, and if it's easier for you, nothing says you can't go through and do all these straighter ones first, because they really are easier to get in and get after. Okay, my lightest shade, my medium shade, and again, I went back on the pencil some. I can go at least halfway up on that flower in this shade, maybe more if I want. A lot of flowers are really darker in the center. Okay, the, what was it we did last time? The carnation. Stand up so I can get to this and show you. The carnation was really darker in that center. Okay, down where all the folds and stuff meet. So if you missed that flower, just go back and find it. It wasn't done that long ago. In fact, it might be the last video that I did. I think my next video is just going to go ahead and be a flip through on this book. I think it's time to show you all this book and abstract pretty coloring book by the same people. I will show you both of them. This book I've enjoyed. The abstract one, it's not as much for me. Some of the pictures are a little blurred, but this book has definitely, I'm definitely glad I requested this book at the same time as they sent the other one, because this book I've really enjoyed. I enjoy flowers better than an abstract. So, oh, and I know some of y'all love abstract better. And the abstract's going to be a good place to really try out blending different colors like this. You know, going back to that middle shade, and I'm going to add some more between the darkest and the lightest. Just going to add some more in there. See, when you come back, I'm going to come back over the darkest and the same shade. When you come back and add, do you see how it brightened up? Sometimes it really will brighten it up, because I use this as my blender, so it dulls it down a little. So if you can come back with your medium shade, sometimes you can go ahead and brighten it back up some. Again, don't be afraid to mix your colors. If you were doing yellow, you could do, this is a different brand, you could do like a pale yellow, and then a bright yellow, and then like your yellow ochre, or your lightest shade of brown. Just don't let the brown take over. Okay? So that's just, that totally depends on the look you're after and how you want to do your flowers. Now, sometimes there's a hard time, like, what is all this? And to me, this is one petal, and then this is a petal, but this is folded over. All right, so I would do this. I know I'm getting real sloppy. It's all right. It won't be when I'm finished. Then I would do this. You just have to leave that area where it's flipped or folded, okay? If you don't leave these areas, then that's where it's going to get a little wonky. And I put a little there to show that it does go down in, and I can follow that fold line a little. But this is where it's mainly going to be, is around here. Because if that's flipped, then that's where you're going to get that fold at. And if you get one that's, you know, you really can't tell, it's not going to make a big difference if you do it a little bit off. Okay? one off every now and then is not going to hurt. Okay, and then on this side of it, where the flip is, so I can push it back in there. See, I push that right back in there. Then it looks like it's flipped up and over. Then I'm going to bring in the second color and put some more. Yeah, some of these flips, they're not always the easiest to get after. But if you'll just remember to do some difference somewhere, then it's going to give it a flip and make your flower look more like a flower. It's going to make it look more cohesive. More like there is a flip in it and it's not just a deformed petal that some bird or bug ate away at. Okay? Does that help? Okie dokie. Well, that's it for now. And I will be back in a few days and we're actually going to do a flip through on this book. Okay? So I hope you have enjoyed. Let's look at this again. Zoomed out. There you go. And again, this is what the front of that book looks like if you're looking for it on Amazon. And then there's the ISBN. And this, Montana Roots Publishing, just when you look for it on Amazon, be sure you put in this title, and then in the search, put in Montana Roots also, because there are a bunch of flower books out there. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you'll give us a thumbs up and become a subscriber, follow, and I will see you in a few more days. All right. Bye-bye.